This is North Park. Day after Easter. This is Easter Monday. This is a job we've had contracted for a while, repeat customer. And it's a good example of what crawl spaces look like across town right now. A lot of these houses, they have post and pier construction, so they dig down underneath this, and they place the block wall and then pilasters and posts to support the floorboards. So basically what you've got is a void underneath the house. And with all these giant rains we've got, whenever you dig a hole, or whenever you have essentially a sump, is what this is, a crawl space, that the entire thing will flood. And it's not that the rain or the water is coming out of the sky and into this. It's that this water is seeping out of the ground. So this is a typical crawl space in San Diego right now. And all this moisture, it does filter down eventually through the clay, but this water can stand here for a week or more, soaking up into the wood walls and joists. And another phenomena that's going on is unmaintained gutter gardens. So the gutters are basically completely ineffective. And so, that destroys the house and it dumps the neighbor's water into this customer's yard. And it's kind of a disconnect with rain. Proper gutters cause all kinds of carnage, and it's pretty much why I don't do them anymore. Roofing defects, sloppy construction, general lack of maintenance. This contractor's over that part of it, and I like to do drainage because I can really help people. But a house like this is typical of these houses. This whole area, to some extent or another. So San Diego's got this thing where they keep applying blacktop over these streets, and the curbs are disappearing. In a couple places, this curb is 2 inches, 3 inches thick. So the street water will stand forever. And the bottom line is this house is basically, it's almost flush with the street. So there is no possible drainage with gravity. And if I were to get underneath this house, that house, any of these houses, they all have water underneath them. So San Diego's entering a critical mass stage with this drainage stuff. The ground cannot absorb any more water. And hydrostatic pressure has water actually pushing out of the ground through the concrete slabs. Another interesting thing is, so much of this stuff, the homeowners and customers attribute to termites. And it's true that termites do enjoy the nice soft wood that is a result of leaks. And so, when you're looking at these houses, if you look underneath the eaves, if there's water damage, that's a dead giveaway that flashing, the strip edge, is not put on in the right order. So you've got houses that are flush with the street. You've got lots with no grade. You've got roofers who don't know how to roof. It's kind of a nightmare for contractors and homeowners too. Fun fact number 3 is that home inspections is not a licensed or regulated trade in California. That's right. When you go to buy a home and you get a home inspector, the guy might as well have got his credentials off the back of a Cracker Jack box. That's how meaningful they are. And these houses routinely get clean inspection reports with an asterisk that you might check with a drainage contractor about this or that, when anybody with any sort of sense would know that a house like this, a sump pump is like standard equipment. So this is not dereliction of duty on the contractors. It's just like a generational disconnect from rainwater and groundwater and all the things that happen when it rains. These houses can't be built any differently than houses in the rest of the country, but they are. And this is an example of a house that's had work. It's had weep screed retroactively installed. It's kind of a big deal in these houses because basically it creates some separation between the stem wall and the swamp that it sits on. Ventilation in the crawl space is excellent idea. But the bottom line is these houses are designed to have water in them. I mean, a sump is an ancient term. Basically, anytime you have, like a castle and it's got a dungeon in it, that dungeon will fill up full of water, just like this. So they would make drainage canals coming out of the bottoms of the castles, and those were the sumps. That's what this is. It's a sump. So you have to drop a sump pit and put a sump pump, and that's it. That's the only thing you can do. There's no drainage happening here, and this is what the ground looks like underneath. If you were to dig down here in this ground, even a little bit, you're gonna hit that. And say if you dug down over there 10 feet away from here, and you dug down 2 feet, it'd be dry for about an hour, and then it would look like that. So anytime you got a hole, it's going to fill up full of water. So all these homeowners that are looking under their crawl spaces are like, oh my gosh, I've got water underneath there. Half the time it's because somebody's dug down in there for whatever reason. Plumbing work, you name it. So this goes in right next to the crawl space. It's lower than the stem wall. It's perforated, and it'll move the water out. And then we can mitigate the risks of dropping these things in. We can do this effectively, but there is no other method for drainage in San Diego. This is it on these houses.